Hi everyone, so this week we've been looking at expanding and factorising. We've looked at single brackets, but now we're going to have a look at expanding and factorising double brackets. So hopefully this is the next natural step in the progression to learning and mastering this skill. So we're going to look at a few different methods of doing this. So we're going to look at the expanding first. So come your exam, it's most likely to have a question that simply says expand and simplify, and that's your clue to understanding that that's what we've got to do with the question. So we will have a simple example: x plus 7 and x plus 3. So there are a few ways to work this out. I'm going to go through both. Now at this stage of the year it's probably better to stick with the method you know already, but that being said, if you find that another method works for you really well, then obviously there's no harm in changing. So what I'm going to do is hopefully actually change the colour of my pen. Now, the first method I'm going to use is something called the FOIL method. Now this is something you might have used at school, and it just stands for first, outside, inside and last, and it's just the way we work out the sum. So what we're going to do is the first two elements of our sum, which is x times x. So x times x, as I hope we all know by now, is easy enough, and it is x squared. Excuse my terrible 2. Let's try that again, shall we? Squared. That is the first. Now we're going to go to the outside, which is x times 3. X times 3 obviously is just 3x. Then we're going to go to the inside of our sum, which is 7 times x. Again, easy enough. 7x. And the final part of our sum, which is the outside, 7 times 3. Hopefully we know that 7 times 3 is 21. Now that is part of the sum, but it's still not simplified. We've expanded, but we've not simplified. So if I give myself a little space to work, we can simplify this down to something that will get us 4 marks. Okay, so our x squared can stay the same because we've got no other squared letters or numbers on there, so that can remain x squared. 21 can actually remain because we've got no single numbers apart from that, but the 3x and the 7x can actually become a number together. So 3x add 7x is 10x, and that is our sum. Okay, so let's have a look at the other method of doing this. So there's not just the FOIL method, there is a different method, the grid method. So this is my, if I'm honest, preferred method, but it's not for everyone, so I'm more than happy for you to use whichever method suits you best. So let's have another example. Let's go for x minus 3 x plus 5. So we're going to use the grid method this time. Now the grid method is nice and simple, even if a bit dodgily drawn. Looks a little like this. So we're going to be multiplying. We know we're going to be multiplying. And all we're going to do is write out our sums at the top and now on the side of our grid. So our first one was, excuse me, that's terrible. In fact, we're going to restart this all. I'm not giving myself enough space. Don't you just love being live? Could be worse, trust me. That's better. So we're going to be multiplying, and our first is going to be x, simple as that. The next part of our sum will be minus 3, and down the side we're going to write yet another x, and this time plus 5. And the reason I like this better because it compartmentalises everything you've got to do. So for this one we're going to simplify and work through what we've got. Each box will contain its own product. So for example here we have x and x, so x times x is x squared. X times minus 3 is minus 3x. X times 5 is 5x. And 3 times 5, or minus 3 times 5 is minus 15. We've nearly done it now. So we were talking about collecting like terms previously. Now the great thing about this is you can collect like terms on the page. So if we see here, we can go, these are our like terms. Well, 5x minus 3x is going to be 2x. So we don't have to simplify again, we can do it straight away. So we're going to be left with x squared plus 2x, if I've got the space to do it, minus 15. Bit of a dodgy attempt there, but my finger is not playing ball. So we'll look at one more example of that just to make sure it's clear in your minds. So again we'll go for a nice simple one. X plus 5 x plus 4. So we'll draw a grid out. Give myself plenty of space this time. We know we're multiplying. And across the top we're going to do x plus 5. And down the side we're going to go x plus 4. We're going to do exactly what we did last time. X times x, x squared. X times 5, 5x. X times 4, 4x. And 4 times 5 is 20. We can collect the like terms straight away. 4x add 5x is 9x, we know that. And our sum can be written out x squared plus 9x plus 20. That's my preferred way of doing it. I like it that way. I like the fact that we can collect the terms within the grid. Okay, so that's expanding and simplifying. But the other part of this is the factorising of double brackets. So we're going to take a look now at the factorising of double brackets. So, again we need an example to work with, so let's go with x squared plus 9x plus 20. So if we're asked to factorise this into an exam, we've got 3 numbers, so we know it's going to go into double brackets, which is quite handy for us. So the first thing we could do is draw out our double brackets. Now generally speaking, the first part of this question is going to be fairly easy. The x squared, we know we need 2 x's to make x squared, so we're going to have an x in one bracket and an x in the other bracket. Now what we're looking for is something that can give us 2 numbers which add up to give us 9, but also multiply to give us 20. In this case it's not too bad, so 2 numbers that add up to give us 9 and multiply to give us 20 could be 4 and 5. 4 add 5 equals 9. 4 times 5 equals 20. And all we do then is write them in. And to check that we're right, we can simply expand and simplify from what we've already done. So x times x is x squared. We would put our x's together. Once we've done them in the grid, we would bring them together and then we'd be left with 4 times 5, equals 20. So the check is literally the sum we've just been doing previously. So we'll have one more look at that just to make sure it's clear in everyone's head. Let's pick a different one this time. Let's use a different symbol. Let's go with y. Why not? It's a math joke. X squared, y squared rather, plus 11y plus 24. So we know it's going to be in double brackets. This time we've got y squared, so we're going to put a y in each box. And we've got to try and think of something that's going to add up to make 11 and multiply to make 24. So what adds up to make 11 and multiplies 24? Well, what about 8 and 3? 8 plus 3 equals 11, and 8 times 3 equals 24. Nice and simply, we just write it in. And again, you can check that by expanding and simplifying the equation you just created. That's all there is to it. Okay, so even with my very dodgy fingertip drawing, we've got the idea of what we need to do. Once again, as always, this is going to be on the VLE, so please feel free to drop in, log in with your details. All you need is your number and your date of birth. You can get on there and check all this stuff out. Again, the first exam is not too far away. The 24th of this month. Bring on the Thursday. So I'll see you all soon, and I hope that these will give you something to think about in the meanwhile. So, take care everyone, goodbye.